Welcome back to the Midday Reset. My name is Antoinette and I've been gone for a while. I've been on the go quite a bit, battling on and off with some depression, and I won't lie, it's been hard thinking about sitting down to record episodes. I'm excited to be moving past that now because it was hard to conceptualize the Midday Reset becoming something that I would want to shy away from. I created this show for the purpose of having something to turn to that would help me share with others the strategies that I've learned for coping with anxiety and depression. But even though I've discovered ways of coping, I still have my days. I've been working a lot on shifting my perspective, and it's caused me to make some deeper revelations about things, become clearer on what I want, focus on that stuff, and not so much on the other fluff. That's hard, you guys. It's hard to turn your back on things that you know are negative for you when those things are disguised as people who are supposed to have your best interest at heart. These are your friends and or your family who claim to love you, but their actions tell a different story. And we all have them. And I think that's been one of the more frustrating pieces of this chapter for me to live through, is that there are some people who just don't get it because they don't want to. They're cognizant of what's truly happening, what's truly going on, but they're willfully choosing to be intellectually dishonest. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. We'll take a deep breath, just one deep breath to clear the space, and then let's dive into this. Inhale and exhale. Focus. Awesome. So, as I said, intellectual dishonesty. This happens when the facts and obvious conclusions are there, but people choose to ignore these details for the purpose of staying loyal to their viewpoint first and foremost. I see this happening a lot lately, especially as our population becomes more and more divided. People are so heavily invested in their own viewpoints being right that they make a concerted effort to turn away from what is blatantly in front of them. And this happens at all levels, you guys. I'm not just referring to politics here or popular culture or music. As you work to gain the upper hand on what your affliction is, whether that's depression and anxiety, which I battle with, or it's addiction, manic episodes, bipolar disorder, personality disorder, the list goes on. As you work to gain the upper hand on that, at some point you will have to confront the person that looks back at you when you look in the mirror, and you're going to have to figure out just what the heck that person, who is you, is all about. And as you do that, you will ruffle feathers. It's natural. We aren't all the same, so we aren't all going to agree and go about things exactly the same way. That's why boundaries are important. Boundaries are how we tell ourselves and others what we can and cannot tolerate. And in the process of coming to grips with ourselves and loving ourselves, we will draw boundaries that directly contradict what someone else close to us believes or feels. That's okay. But the difference in and of itself is not a good basis for someone to doubt, question, or dismiss you. As long as you are looking after yourself in healthy ways, nobody has the right to dismiss you on the basis of choices you make for yourself in life, and I need you to recognize that as a fact. Do some journaling about it if you aren't quite there yet, but it isn't okay for someone to justify treating you poorly simply because your ideology doesn't match theirs. And when your ideology has been nothing but a blessing to you, when you've stepped out on your own and taken risks and it's paying dividends for you, then the continuance of your detractors' dismissal of you is where intellectual dishonesty shows itself. At that point, the people downing you or doubting you are only doing so because they just want to. They have no basis to support their claims other than wanting to oppose you so badly, and you can waste a whole lot of energy trying to get through to people like that. So I say, don't do it. If people want to willfully misunderstand you, let them. They'll figure it out eventually. You see, intellectual dishonesty is a lot like logical fallacies in that it's a terrible foundation for an argument because it can easily be deflated by presentation of truth, which is usually prevalent. This would be like someone claiming that smoking cigarettes puts a person at no higher risk for developing cardiovascular disease, cancer, or debilitating dental health. The evidence of that has been out and in print for decades. Many of us have also seen firsthand what happens to people when they smoke cigarettes over time. You get my point, I'm sure. It's widely known at this point in time that smoking cigarettes isn't going to help anybody's health. So a person who comes along wanting to staunchly challenge that looks a little out of place to us. That's an example of what I'm talking about. And while you can try to argue with folks who are invested in this form of being misinformed, I suggest you don't. I suggest preserving your energy instead and moving past these people swiftly because quarreling with them isn't going to get you any further up the path towards your success. Instead, find solace in the disengagement. Disengagement means you just refuse to meet them on their level and bicker something that you know to be true and that's proven to be true, especially on the internet. You can't try to get into philosophical debates with people in comment sections. First of all, that's a huge time waster, and again, not going to move you up the path to your success. And second, while I do love the internet is full of fakeness. People are very comfortable slinging insults from behind their screens and having commentary on every little thing. I mean, I can't knock it entirely because I wouldn't be here if that platform had not been created for people like me, but 9 times out of 10, the profound messages that you are longing to hear or spread likely won't come to you in the comment section. Just be advised. Instead, stay peaceful, stay humble, stay focused on what you know you want and what you're moving towards. Eventually, their voices and actions won't even register because you'll be moving so quickly toward your goals that you can't even hear or see them anymore. And that's one of the greatest victories that you can find for yourself, to be perfectly content in your lane, doing what you love, and ignoring willful ignorance, such as intellectual dishonesty. Let me know what you think about this topic by emailing me at themdrpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Midday Reset to follow along with my mental health journey and get the latest news of what's going on with the Midday Reset. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time.